catch up. Richmond's morning news. We're here with you. 6 a.m. Let's start it up.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Richmond's morning news, 6:33 on this Tuesday, May 8th. Thanks for joining us here on the Voice of Virginia News Radio, WRVA. Hey, the James River Air text line is open for you today. You can send us a text message. That's how you reacted. By the way, I've got Vaughn here working this morning. I'm going to, again, take over everything and take telephone calls in the 9 o'clock hour. So I don't know if the bosses have approved that or not, but while Super Dave's gone, Rich is going to go wild, and we'll do telephone calls and do like a little talk show coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. And I do want to talk about something today on the program. So your electricity bills are going to go up. I know in my house, we constantly have the argument, can we turn on the air conditioning? No. Why can't we turn on the air conditioning? Because of the power bills. I'm hot. I don't care. Open a window. Turn on a fan. Stop. We don't need, okay, fine. You could turn on the air conditioning. And it's a constant conversation that most people have. If it's cold, put on a sweater. No, I'm cold. Turn on the heater. No, it costs too much. How many of you have had that conversation in your house? We all have. But something's going to happen here on July 1st that I think everybody needs to be aware of. Glenn Youngkin took Virginia out of the RGGI. I'm always suspect when things have letters to them because you don't actually explain what they are. You just use the acronym RGGI, Reggie. There's a lot of people call it. Youngkin pulled us out of there. What is it? It was a cap and trade program to limit our carbon emissions. One of the first things that Abigail Spanberger did was put us back into Reggie. It's going to affect your electric bills coming up at the first of the month. So let me explain to you what this is, because I had to do some research last night and this morning to understand exactly what this convoluted bureaucratic program really is. So just in case you don't know, Reggie is going to add about 6 to 7% annually to your electric bill. So if your electric bill isn't that high, guess what? We're now going to pad it and make it even higher to pay for Reggie. So what is Reggie? Virginia is rejoining the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. We're going to start getting back into that. So what happens? Well, we're going to have cap and trade. What is cap and trade? Cap and trade is we set a maximum of how much greenhouse gases the electric companies can produce, and anything above that, they need to buy a credit. And what did that money go for the credit? Well, a lot of people think it goes to this big regional thing, and the money goes all over the place. Now it stays right here in Virginia. But let me kind of explain how this convoluted program works. The money starts with the electric bill. Power companies buy carbon allowances at an auction. Okay, you see where the bureaucracy is already beginning. Those costs become part of the generation of electricity, and that gets passed on to you, the consumer. So you're being charged for how much energy Dominion produces, and you have to buy that carbon offset as part of your electric bill. You have no choice in it. It's already done. You don't have any say in it. It automatically gets taken out of your bill, or added to your bill, I should say. So it's really kind of a hidden tax. You're going to get an added 6 to 7% tax to your electric bill. All of us, everybody pays it. Now, I call it a carbon tax because the government creates these thresholds, these allowances, collects the revenue that the customers pay, and then it's given to the state, and the state gets to use it for whatever they want to use it for. Does that make sense? Let me kind of put it to you this way. Here's what happens. Reggie and the state of Virginia are going to create out of thin air, they're going to create a bureaucratic program. Okay? This bureaucratic program is going to create an agency, if you will, that says you could only have this much in carbon taxes, in carbon emissions. And if you go over that, you have to pay for it. So the state created an artificial commodity which forces utilities to buy it, and then decides how to spend the proceeds. So here's what we spend the proceeds on if you're in Virginia. We spend it on things over in Hampton Roads. We spend it on winterizing homes for people in low income, and whatever other things that the state wants to do. Why that's not covered through our state taxes that we pay through the nose for already, I don't know. But the bottom line is the cost of this. State law requires Dominion pass this on dollar for dollar to its customers. Period. End of story. So you're going to get a 6% rise in your electric bill, whether you want to or not, because of the RGGI that Abigail Spanberger put us back into. And again, we're looking if Dominion could get, and this is according to the RTD, about $1.18 billion is what they're expecting to collect from residents of Virginia. $1.1 billion is what we're paying into this thing that they just kind of made up, that Abigail Spanberger put us back into. And they use that money to pay for people to winterize their home. To what else? There's a bunch of different things they use it for. But the bottom line is this regional greenhouse gas initiative is passed on to all of us. And again, you're going to probably see your gas bill, your electric bill jump because of this. It's a tax. It's a tax. Then the money goes to the legislator who gets to decide how to spend it. Whether they spend it on things over on the beach, things over to winterize homes. There's all kinds of different things they use that money for. But the bottom line is it's money that you get charged. Oh, here's what I was looking for. They're going to use the money to go to flood projects, energy programs, and other state priorities. That's what I was looking for. I wanted to make sure I
didn't vote for that.
No, none of us voted for that. But Abigail Spanberger put us back into it. So here's the thing that's confusing me. And I think I just figured this out. So basically, it would be like if the state just said, all right, gas stations, you could only sell X amount of gas. And when you get to that amount of gas, you need to go buy gas credits in order for you to be able to sell more than that amount of gasoline to your customers. You pass that along to your customers because we want you to use less gasoline. And then we'll take that state money and we'll use it for our pet projects. That's what the RGGI is. So Abigail Spanberger, who ran on, we're going to lower costs, we're going to make life more affordable for Virginians, enters back into this RGGI, which raises your electric bills. And gosh, I know I love looking at my Dominion energy bill when the summer comes to see how much we're spending on air conditioning, especially when it's going to start getting hot and humid. Now, put 6-7% on top of that. So basically, the RGGI says we want you to use less electricity. And if you go above what we think, by the way, this is arbitrary. The RGGI folks decide how much carbon emissions, basically how much energy Dominion can produce. And if they produce more than that, they have to buy credits from some made up fantasy land, make believe carbon tax credit, whatever they're calling it, in order to produce that much energy to take care of your needs. And then you're going to pay for it. That makes sense? No, it doesn't. It's really confusing. But that's what this RGGI is that we're getting back into. They're not taxing electricity directly. Virginia is auctioning a government-created carbon allowance to power producers who then recover much of that cost through electrical rates, and the money gets put into their pet projects or whatever they want to use it for. In other words, it's a tax that none of us approved. None of us ever said, yeah, let's have the General Assembly raise our taxes on our electric bills, and we'll use that for these projects. No, it's RGGI tells us we're going to produce less electricity because we don't want to have these greenhouse gases. And if you people in evil Virginia want to use more than that, then every homeowner has to pay, every renter has to pay, every business has to pay. The RGGI in order to buy credits so we can serve our customers. And it's set arbitrarily by someone else who we don't know. I can't find out who it is. I don't know who exactly sets these terms. I don't know who exactly sets these caps, but they set a cap. And because we went over the cap that they arbitrarily came up with, you and I are all going to get charged 6 to 7% extra on our electric bills. So if you're a family that's struggling right now with the price of gasoline, guess what? Now you're going to get a bigger electrical bill starting July 1st because Abigail Spanberger immediately put us back into the RGGI program in order to cap the amount of electricity that Virginia can produce. And if they go over that, then everybody has to pay into this Fantasyland magical box called Reggie. Does that make sense?
Is Reggie the guy that donated to her campaign?
I don't think so, but it's somebody that we absolutely have no idea who it is. It's really confusing. The money goes for pet projects, and I'm going to tell you that if you needed money to winterize low-income housing, meaning they'd use electricity, don't we pay enough in state taxes for that? If you're going to go over there and use it in Hampton Roads and in Virginia Beach for projects, don't we pay enough in taxes for that? Now you got to tax me an extra 7% just to keep my family cool and keep my family warm. I mean, think about this. We have emergency shelters when it gets too hot in Virginia. We have emergency shelters when it gets too cold in Virginia. And now you're going to tax people for trying to be comfortable during the winter and during the summer. When the electric rates go up, the consumption goes up, you're going to tax us for that. Somehow it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I want to know what you think. Number for you to join us on the James River Air text line, 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. It's really, really confusing, but I'm going to find some experts. I'm working on getting some people to come on and explain exactly what this does and how it works. It is insane. All right, that's something for you to keep an eye on because it goes into effect on July 1st. All right, coming up on the program, I got more for you. I did a little bit of research. I worked on the show yesterday before the basketball game. What are we holding the budget up for? What is going on with the budget? Why is it taking so much time to get done? I've got some answers for you, and we'll talk with Tom Garrett coming up on the program as well here on Richmond's Morning News. Thanks for joining us, everybody. It is 6:45 this morning on the Voice of Virginia. Appreciate you spending time with us. Don't forget, you can always send us a text message